call me Remy. Remy works fine. And like we've heard from Yomi earlier today, I just want us to don't be bothered about the fact that we are not 100 or 300 or something. I think it will even give you the opportunity to learn better, learn more hands-on with the number we have, and it will show how thoroughly dedicated you are to or committed to the course in itself. And trust me, as long as we are delivering on our assignments and we are paying attention in class, by the end of 6 weeks, you'll be amazed at what you have been able to achieve thus far. So, welcome to the UI UX class, and I can't wait for us to get started. Wish you a wonderful, wonderful UX journey ahead. I'll let my Oga take over.
Hello guys, I'm not his Oga. Yeah, so my name is Emmanuel, and Emmanuel Molly, but I think Emmanuel is just straightforward and okay. I'm a product designer, and we'll be co-facilitating this section, and I think it's going to be very fun. I like the fact that it's even kind of a like a large quantity class. We are so much that we can really feel ourselves and just follow up with ourselves more. So I like it this way. So I think a little bit into maybe more of us is that I think I work currently as a lead product designer at Lead Genius, and I'm also kind of like a good product designer, but we'll talk more about that during the section. I can assure you guys that this is going to be very fun for everybody. Like um we're going to make this section as fun, as engaging as we can make it. So you guys just enjoy yourself and feel free to ask question, like anything, like literally anything. No dumb question, nothing of such that, oh, this thing, maybe if you don't understand anything, just two of us, we are very, very, as you can see, we are very, very approachable and very fun. And fun fact is that product designer, we are always very fun and very playful. So product design is not very rigid. You have to be very, very fun, creative sometimes. Don't worry, we'll just small when we start the class. So just be here to have fun and learn. That's what I can say.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So, without further ado, I think we'll just kickstart the class. I think as we go on, we'll also like share um, a curriculum, or better still, if it is already on like the classroom, whatever, would share with you the design UI UX curriculum and how we intend to, carry the entire class all through the first 6 weeks, and the things you would possibly learn and the things you would possibly work on. I think I always mention this every time I have the opportunity to teach people UI UX design. See, approach it with this mindset. Don't think it is high up there. Don't think it is one big deal. Approach it with this mindset. Yeah, these interfaces that we see is made up of texts, colors, images, shapes. If you approach it with that mindset, trust me, you'd not even see it as a big deal. So it means if you combine the images, the text, the colors, you combine them properly, you arrange them properly, you have a good interface. And in terms of experience just in layman terms talks about how you feel about using something. So I'll give you an example, just a very quick example. So I'm sure most of us are familiar with Burger King or McDonald's. You see the
The local man, I don't eat that. I'm only familiar with fufu and never.
even the fufu and never self. So you see the all the things that they put inside, the lettuce, the ham, the cheese, all those things. You see how nice it looks when you see them. So that's like the UI of the burger. You see how it looks, the shape of the bun, how round it is, they carve it well. That's like the UI. But you see, when you now take a bite of that McDonald's burger, how sumptuous it tastes. That's like the experience. So you are now experiencing McDonald's, you are tasting it, you are using the product in a sense. So the experience you get out of it, if it is bad, if it is good, you see that some people prefer Burger King to McDonald's. Why? Because they have a better experience eating Burger King as opposed to McDonald's. So that's simply what it is all about. If you think about it that way, you would have a seamless, understanding of what UI UX is. So UI interface UX experience, basically, in whatever it is you are doing. So that's like a short intro from me. I'll let my boss take over.
I think it will become a crime now for you to call me a boss. I could tell Mr. Remy that this one is on the spot.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be a very short class where we just introduce what digital product design is, and also can maybe a little bit about UI. I'm not sure, right? I think it's just going to be digital product design, right? I think the other part's going to be during the week. So I will try and make this section as fun as possible. It's going to be more of maybe kind of discussion. So, like we said, it's going to be engaging. So I don't know why, Deborah, why did you turn off your face now? I like seeing
I'll be
beautiful faces.
I'll be back. I want to charge my laptop.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, and goodness, your face is a little bit below the camera. I'm not seeing that your amazing face. Like it's let's see ourselves now. I think you're Yoruba, so like so that we can when you see
Let me
ourselves.
readjust.
Okay,
Yes, sorry.
perfect. Um,
Welcome.
so let me see. I think I'm going to share my screen. I don't have plenty slides. It's just like few slides just to make this look very corporate so that um um product designers police they will not come and catch us that they're teaching product design without a slide. So that's why I just put out. It's going to be more of an interactive section. Ask yourself what you guys know about product design. What are the things that you want to learn? You know, what are the issues you've had? I know that this might not be your first time attempting to learn this. You might have, be thinking about it. So let's hear out what you think about product design, and then we'll just go into it. So let me just pull up this. Let me share my screen so I can pull up this presentation. Oh, I think I need to push play. I hope this works the way I want it to work. Okay. And like I said, fun facts. I hope you guys don't you like football or you like sports. I don't know how somebody would not like football, like at least just like one sport. Please, as a product designer, it can be very boring. So you need something to always just keep yourself engaged.
I
Just
think it's Deborah that says she likes anime.
yeah, anime is also interesting. I watch a lot of cartoons also. Like I don't
Ah,
watch
wait,
not
though. Don't let me jump. She said animation. So Deborah, is it animation, or anime?
No animation.
Ah,
wait,
so
is there
that's
animation in
that's
terms of
cartoon. Kung
watching
Fu Panda.
animation on your
Animation and
phones or
like like Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
yeah. So like cartoon for adults now. So
Yeah.
yeah, something like good. Wasn't I think there's this one I like, this Mexican one that sang I forgot the name. Coco.
Is it Coco?
Yeah,
Oh,
Coco.
Coco,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think that's one of my favorites in a while. So what is how do we start, Seth? Okay, I think we're starting with understanding digital product design. So, like I said, it's going to be very interactive section. I'm going to start with goodness. So, goodness, can you kind of give us not give you? I'll not put you on the spot here. If you don't sort of have an idea, just tell me that. Yes, I'm working on it. I don't have now. What prompted you to? What is the urge for you to want to learn digital product design, and what do you know about digital product design? Anything is like any answer is good, like no wrong answers. Like just tell us what do you think is digital product designer? Why do you think you want to be a product designer? I'm coming
um
to fitness first, yeah.
okay. Uh so I think first of all I think one of my goals for this year was to learn a new skill. I think last year, my goal was to like go more into um video editing. So I'm like, okay, this year I need to do something a bit more different. Then I figured it will also help me, like, I mean, if I wanted to make like a career switch, it will also like basically help me do that. Um, I will say I know a lot about probably like product design or digital product design. Anyways, but I would say it's basically about like the process of like creating something maybe users can interact with. It could be probably well, it's digital, so I'm guessing it's related probably to a website or probably an app.
Like,
So I think that would probably be the thing that it's going to um, refer to, what the user is going to see, how the user is going to navigate through those interfaces, basically.
great.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Amazing, amazing. I think that's very spot on. And I also like the fact that it's a goal for you to learn a skill. It's quite how will I call it? It's inspiring for me. Me too. I think I'm going to think about one skill I'm going to learn. The year is not yet over. So I'll come to Dabira. Is it Dabira or Deborah? Because you know
Deborah.
this wiki like
Deborah.
this, there could be a lot of phonetics. All right, so Dabira, so let's have you. I think you're a nurse, right?
Deborah. Deborah.
Deborah, okay.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
mind me, I'm a local man, I'm a musician
No,
man.
it's
So
fine. Yeah. For me, what prompted me to learn UI UX design? Okay, so I was like, okay, if because I'm a nurse, I was like,
Mm.
okay, if I stop working as a nurse, like what else do I know how to do? Do you get?
Mm.
And I realized that I don't really have anything to do. Like,
Mm.
so I just said, okay, I need to learn something. I need to learn a skill, right? And another factor was in terms of having another stream of income,
Perfect.
because as a know, we all know for a fact that your salary cannot make you wealthy,
Yeah, I
right?
don't know.
Okay, so your salary, your income, your monthly income can make you wealthy. So to become wealthy, you have to have multiple streams of income.
That's
So
good.
that was also like a motivation for me. And I was torn between project management and product design.
Mm.
Which one do I want to do? Which one do I want to do? And I'm like, I love
Mm.
creativity. So product design is more about creativity, like putting your creative power, your creative prowess into action. So I was like, okay, I think this is an opportunity for me to, squeeze out my creative juice.
Perfect.
So I think
Let's have it.
that
Have it.
that's just it for me. I
Yeah.
might eventually learn project management, like
See.
once you know about product design, right?
Mm.
But I feel like the major core for me right now is um product design.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you both have really, I think you guys both have very good motivations behind you coming to product design. And I must say that it's a very um it's an amazing field in tech, just like what you just said about products management. In the product world, they all worked together. In fact, one of the very major requirements, one of these very good thing in the job description when you want to apply for a job as a product designer, they will talk about this cross functional, having the ability to be able to work across fields. So like you said, you'll be able to also relate with product management and product managers, even someone like Goodness who have an experience with media, video graphic stuff. You also your experience also come in play when you're trying to do stuff like animation, and also maybe when you're trying to work on maybe you're working in a sector that has to do with media and something. So some of those experiences, all of our experiences, all our motivation always come in play when you are working in product design, because one of the things you are doing is that you are literally designing for humans. Like our apps, our website, everything we use, it's being used by us. So the more we interact with humans, the more we know how to understand the needs. And when you start like a design, think like a designer, we will get to, you start seeing day-to-day activities that you feel like, oh, if this should be like this, oh, this could be like this, then you start to see product design in everything you do as human. So product design, I would say, is human design. It's like you are designing for human being. You understand? So just know that your motivation behind joining this class and getting a new skill, or getting a new source of income. And I must also say that product design is a very lucrative skill. Don't tell anybody. So yeah, it's very lucrative. If God just give you the permission to just get your way around, it's very lucrative and one of the highly sought skills in tech. So let's dive deep into it. And you guys have also said a bit about product design, and I will also give my little understanding about it. So you guys have said where it's designing products. I don't know how else to say it. It's literally designing product. But here's the thing. Now, the reason why there's this word digital product design, I'll make the emphasis on the digital, is the fact that product design itself could be both physical and digital. So now when I say physical, I'm talking about something like this. This is a water, but it's a product. There are guys who design this. They are also called product designers. So I think those ones, they call them, Remy, do you? I think there's one surface they had in front of product designers that design real life product. I forgot.
They call them CAD
Yeah,
designers. So they model the products on that particular software called CAD.
card and
Yeah.
do something like rendering or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are other designers that actually design real life product like this, like something you could touch and feel. Now, for us, we are digital product design. We focus more on digital products, and which is going to lead me into talking about digital product design is encompasses process of creating, I don't want to use this buzz English, visual appealing digital products such as websites, mobile application, and software interface. So think about Spotify, think about Google email on your phone, think about even the interface of your mobile itself, how you scroll up those touch bar, those anything that you touch on your digital asset has been designed, has been thought through, and how you're going to use it, and has been designed by a product designer. And that is the craft you want to learn here. And we're not just designing for designing's sake. We are designing to solve a problem. Now, that is the difference between a designer and an artist, right? An artist just think about something and just starts creating something out of his curiosity. But for us designer, we take our curiosity and we identify a problem and we design a solution. And that's the difference between an artist and a designer. So just to chip that in, the major objective of product designer is or of product design is to kind of design to develop smooth and captivating experience that would boost user satisfaction. Now, I would be a little bit going into the business part, like, because these classes we want to make it as practical as possible and also make you sort of job ready in terms of talking about what is um required for you to land the job. Now, one of the things you must know as a product designer is that um, when you are designing, you must always put two things at the center of your thought process. Is one, your users, and number two, your business, your stakeholder, or the business you are solving for. Now, most of the time, one of the mistakes I see most product designers do is that they always focus on the user, like just user, but you've forgotten that it's a business, or it's a company, or it's someone that is bringing some amount of money for you to build that solution. So they too also must be considered. So your ability as a product designer is to be able to combine, to identify or solve the problem for a user, and at the same time solve it in such a way that the business that you are working for, or the stakeholders that are trying to solve that problem for that user, are also making money, because that's how you will also get paid. So you must have those two things at the center of your mind as a product designer. Don't just focus on user. I know that a lot of articles, a lot of people say, hey, product designer, user focus, but hey, please ensure you balance things. If there's something you take out of this class, is two things at the center of your design: the users and the business. That's kind of what me I'm only saying. Though I know I don't know, maybe Remy might have a different opinion, but because I'm a growth product designer, which we'll talk later, I'm biased about putting business at the center most of the time also.
Nah,
Please,
sure.
Remy, if you want to jump in later, let me know. Okay.
I don't have any reservations.
All right.
It's not 100%.
All right. So let me see. My slide is not clicking. No. Oh, okay. Yeah. So when we talk about digital products, I just mentioned like a few screenshots of what a digital product is. I know most of us know it, but then just for the sake of presenting, like I said, so this is a Spotify interface. This is a UI. This is a mobile app. This is Spotify. I don't know if most of us use Spotify. Some people use Google Music, but me, I use Spotify. So this is part of what a product designer do. In which this section, this class, we're going to be talking about the process of how someone will sit down and identify a problem and build this kind of interface. Also, I know you'll have interacted with this website one day or maybe another, might be on the mobile or might be on the web. Someone sat and think about, okay, we know that there are some people who want to learn a new skill. We know one with one goodness that thinks about upskilling himself. So how do we then design a website that can guide goodness to read about what skill he could learn, guide him to make a decision, and here you are. You went on that website, you read a few things, and you're able to say, okay, I want to go to product designer. If this website was not well designed, that did not guide you to taking the action, you will not be here. And that is one of the things you want to learn. Um, Also, Remy talked about user experience. Now, we are going to get there, but before we get there, there's this thing that I've always heard people say: UI, UX, or product design. I want to know what you guys think. What is the difference between UI, UX, and product design? Let's have a conversation. Let's have it. Let's have it. Let me start with Deborah this time. Deborah, oh my god, I don't know. There's a friend of mine that's called Dabi. Dabira, Oluwachim Dabi. I don't know, that's what's in my head. Deborah, sorry.
That's fine. For you, I'm also gone online to check the difference. Like anytime I check for product design, it shows UI UX design, and I'm like,
Hey, what's going on?
yeah, like why are you trying to confuse me?
Yeah.
So from that I can say that UI UX design is under product design.
Mm-hmm. Good
Yeah,
point.
maybe a part of product design, but let me say my mind, I don't want to say bias, but I feel like they are the same thing.
You're right. See, just like I said, there's no wrong answer. Don't worry. See, if you even say that my head is small, you are right. So just to tell you that there's no wrong answer. But then yes, you're sort of correct actually. So
Yeah,
um
so
goodness.
that's just it.
Hmm. I would say this one is kind of tricky because I've seen them in place like in the same um space a lot.
Yeah.
So um in my head I would say it's basically one and the same.
Okay.
I I think they are basically the same thing. Ah, let me
Are you
stop
saying
there.
that?
I don't want to overthink it.
Yeah, don't overthink it. I think that's the thing. Okay, even with you, I will not overthink it. I will say my own, then I will not give the final button to Remy to say what's the final verdict. Like I said, there's no wrong, there's no right answer. Personally, I'm very biased. When people call me, hey, you are a UX designer, I'm like, bro, I'm not a UI designer. I'm a product designer, please. Now, here's what I think. UI UX is called user interface and user experience. Let's say put the word designer, but that's what it means. Now, breaking it down, user experience, user interface. It's about you designing for interface and designing for experience alone. Now, quote me. It means you are focusing on that alone. For me, it's not, it doesn't cut in for a someone who wants to really make career progress. When you start to say UI UX design, I know so many job position nowadays put UI UX, but check it out. When you look at top companies like Facebook, Figma, talking about top companies, you never see them put the job description as a UI UX designer. They always call it product designer. And here's the reason: product designer um focuses on the overall creation of a digital product, which goes beyond just the interface or the experience. It goes into the aspect of the business strategy. So, as a product designer, you are all encompassing in terms of designing UI, UX, but again, you are now also focusing on other aspects of the product. Maybe something like in cross you be at a position where you are also relating with product managers, stakeholders, which you do as a UI, but then you might not go in depth. Now, if it's just that a lot of people that put out jobs, they don't kind of go to the nuance, like they don't really understand what it means. But then as a UI UX designer, it's the same thing as a product designer, honestly, most of the time. But truth be told, when you are saying you are a UX designer, what I see is that you are only just focused on designing interface and experience. You don't kind of have the business in mind. That's why I see it. But then they will say that they have it. But professionally, I'll say the right word is a product designer. When you use UI, I see it as someone that is a layman. But if you want to be a professional, you should be addressed as a product designer, not a UIX designer. It's the same thing, but I feel when you want to call someone a tailor or a fashion designer, it's the same thing, right? But then one is more touche and sophisticated, so that's kind of my opinion. So don't let me talk too much. Let me give room for Remy to dive in there.
I think a lot of debate has actually gone down with these particular terms and terminologies when it comes to I think my own stand is there's no difference, if you ask me. That's my own stand, and I would explain. So I know Emmanuel was saying something like UI UX designer. See, so I think one of the things I've discovered in my own experiences. Now, if the job specifically says user experience designer, okay, you know that okay, this person is specifically a UX designer.
Mm-hmm.
If the job says UI designer, you know that this person is specifically UI designer. But when it says UI UX, I have found that as a UX UI designer, there's no way in your work that you will not delve into other parts of the product.
Yeah,
you will do research. So I myself I've used the term UI UX designer, I've used the term product design in some of my job roles. So there is no way, as a UI UX designer, there's no way you will not touch user research. There's no way you will not interface with product manager. There's no way you will not interface, because the company where I worked as a UI UX designer, I was part of the research team. I was part of the entire life cycle of the product. And that's, in the real sense, is the job of a product designer.
exactly.
The entire life cycle of the product. As a UI UX designer too, you will be too. There's no way not
And
be.
we should be calling you tailor instead of fashion designer.
They would also they won't say, because you did not call yourself product designer, and let's leave him out when we want to do maybe, for example, maybe the marketing team now, they want to do a demo with clients. Let's leave him out because he's UI UX designer. Let's call this one because he's product designer. No, they would whether so except your role is specific, like that is because there are companies that are specific. Top companies like Facebook and the like, fan companies especially, if they want specific, they will specify we want a UI designer. So you know that your job is UI. You are designing interface. Nothing concerns you with research or experience. And if it's user experience, you know that that's what you are coming to do. Nothing concerns you with high fidelity designs. But in the real sense, you will still touch points with all those things. In fact, there's UX engineering, there's UI engineering, there is UX writing, there's so it's all encompassing for a product designer. So for me, they use the term interchangeably. I think they mean the same thing. If it is UI UX, now separate now. But if the term is together, it's almost the same thing as product design, really. So that's my own submission.
So we all agree now that UI UX is equal to product design, but then UI UX is a tailor, while product designer is a fashion designer.
Fashion designer.
They all do this. Cut clothes and sew clothes. Make special wear clothes. So, all right, amazing. Yeah. So I think we've solved that aspect now, and we are all on the same page. So, before I go to what are product designer superpowers, right? So it's more or less like, okay, what do we do as product designers? This is an high level thoughts, like, because it's like intro. We don't want to dive deep, because if we dive deep today now, next class, that's what I'm going to be talking about. So let's take it small. So digital product designer, like we said, you're going to be working, like what's your message? You're going to be working with marketers, you're going to be working with product managers, you're going to be doing research, all sorts of things that really affects the product. That's what you're going to be doing. So the superpowers, when I mean superpowers, like, okay, what do you do as a product designer? One of the first thing, or one of the things that you do is understanding user requirements, right? Just understanding your user. Let me put it that way. Understand your user needs or requirements or challenge. Note that first thing. So as a product designer, you should be able to be the superpower of understanding users' need. When you see, for example, now, Deborah does that a lot. When you see someone that comes to an hospital, right, and is telling you that, my head is aching me, right? Or you see someone that is just doesn't look well, right? You don't just look at this person and say that, it seems this person has HIV. Really looking at this person. No, but you do what? You try to understand the person. You ask question. You ask, oh, is your head aching you? Or what part of your hand is paining you? Now you are trying to understand the user's needs. So I think that's part of your work as a nurse will also come to play as a product designer, where you are trying to inquire into what does this person need, or what is their challenge, or what are their needs that you want to solve, that you want to create a digital solution for. The next thing is for you to be able to now define this, let me say, define them as a goal, because your end goal is to, as a product designer, is to design a digital solution, right? You've identified the needs, and then your next superpower is to be able to take those needs that you've identified and use to define kind of a solution or like a goal that you want to really solve. So this is the goal. Oh, I identify that this customer or this user has headache. So my goal is to be able to solve this headache for this person in 5 steps or in 3 steps, right? Now, the third superpower that I'm proposing is your ability to translate these goals or this solution into a functional design. So something that someone can now use. So someone like Deborah will tell the customer that, oh, go and take ibuprofen like this to take in this UK. You take the ibuprofen, everything. If your leg is paining you, go and take ibuprofen. I don't know what's that thing. I think there's one popular drug that they used to tell us to go and use everything. You can't access drugs. So, but as a designer, you have to boil down to the need, to the user's problem, set a goal, then you now create a functional design that they can use, that they will solve their problem. So that if I have headache now, she tells me to go and use Panadol Extra, not ibuprofen. There might be reasons behind that, but then it's because she has identified that this is functional. This is the one that will suit my problem, and that's one of your superpower as a designer that you should have. I think that's so much about what product design and product designer is. I don't know if you have any question, any thoughts that you think like, oh, Emmanuel, I think you know this thing you're saying. I think it looks like jargons. Let me know. The bride is laughing. I think you have something. Just say it. Nobody's going to catch you. All right. Hope you're having fun. because I don't want to, even if it's boring, I will make myself be sleeping. All right. So next we're going to be going a little bit deeper into product design process. So there are a couple of framework, right? There are a lot of, see, if you Google something right now and say product design process or framework or something, there are a lot of processes out there. But then at the core of every process of all these things, because as company, as different teams, company designer work, they discover that okay, there's a way they can work that really suit their own process, suit their own framework or their business model. Then some of them start took into it. But then at the core of it, at the core of every product design, these are like the fundamental process for helping you achieving your goal as a product designer, which we'll dive into in a couple of minutes. We have empathize, and I keep saying it. Someone like Deborah is going to be really good with it because that's what they do as a nurse. Empathize. Next, you go to define. Next, you go to ideate. Now, the next one, I call it design or your prototype, but it's more or less like designing. Then the last step, very, very important, but because most people miss this, is the testing part. Because what's the point of you going through the first four process and don't test if your solution actually works, if the customer is going to if your customer is going to really get to use your product well and able to find solution to their problem in your product. So this is like the five process that should be. Don't be at the in your left hand though, because you put in your left hand, you can get lost. I don't know where you should put it. But I think maybe put it at the back of your no, at back of your heart is back. Put it in the front of your heart every time as a designer. This thing, just let it sink. Empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Don't worry, we'll dive into to what it means soon. So it's not hard, it's just little words. It's just as we are even saying itself. So and if you can understand this basic understanding of this biggest process, I can tell you the only thing you just need is to polish your UI skill. But if you can understand this process, you can be a designer. Like, forget about it. Me that I'm talking here is because I have experience. You to a designer, everybody's a designer. I can bet you. So and don't see this process as something very, very big. We take it one step at a time. And I think it's also be a good time to also chip in that for this course, we'll be doing together like a frictional project, an hypothetical project. We'll take a particular problem together. We'll identify the needs of those kind of people. We'll go through the process of the product design process together. Then we'll solve the problem and we'll have a fully functional product at the end of these 6 weeks. So just to put that at the front of your heart, don't put at the back, please. Back, you can always close it down, forget it there. So I'll start with empathize. Let me start with Deborah, please. What do you think empathize means, in your own opinion? Don't say as a product designer, in your own opinion, Joe, in your own simple opinion. What do you think when someone say, empathize with me? And don't say that someone that died.
Okay, so empathizing with someone is like putting yourself in the person's shoes. Like for instance, now I'll just give an example.
Yeah.
I know there's a difference between empathize and sympathize, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So for instance, now when let me use in terms of me working in the healthcare system.
Yeah.
Like for instance, if a family maybe a patient die and the family they are mourning their family member, you don't sympathize with them, you empathize with them in the sense that um you put yourself in the same shoe that like okay, that could have been you, so like show them some, give them grace, that kind of stuff, like show them some grace, let them feel their emotions, that kind of stuff. But not that you should start feeling the emotions with them.
Okay.
Yeah. So empathizing with them, like, and also with what we said regarding the product design process, you don't necessarily have to have that problem for you to empathize with someone.
I agree.
So that's just it. But when you're sympathizing with somebody, like, you are doing like, okay, it's your problem, it's your wala, so something like that. So yeah.
Great, great. Yeah, I think one thing the first sentence you said kind of summarizes everything. Like if you can know that, just hold it like a banner. Is put yourself in the shoes of your user. That is kind of the foundation of everything. Like even if I don't say anything again about that process, more about it. If you understand the fact that first thing first, if I want to solve a problem as a product designer, if anybody tell me that, Deborah, oh, we know you're a product designer, come and help us design this product that we want to use to solve cancer. There's this cancer problem we want to do. The first thing that must come to your mind is that for this problem that I want to solve, who are the users and how do I put myself in the shoes of those users? Just like what you said. So you want to put yourself in the shoes of those users and try to feel the emotions, try to feel the needs that they you are not owning it to, but you just want to put yourself and see, okay, yeah, this is how this person would think, this is how this person would feel, so that you're able to now kind of know how to design a solution for them. So that is the summary of empathizing. But I'll just for the sake of me putting effort to writing this short note, to let me read it out. But that is the summary of what empathizing means. So, like I said, it's the initial step of designing a product. Just look at it as a foundation when you want to build a house. You know, I have a background in civil engineering. I think that's a fun fact I didn't mention. Actually, I'm a civil engineer by profession. I spent 5 years in school. In fact, I want to do my master's in, but only God knew what took me to product designing. But then we'll talk about that later. So look at laying a foundation for a building or a very high rising building. You must lay a solid foundation, and that is what that is what that is what empathizing means, is the fact that you are able to understand who are your users and what the needs for them are. And if you're able to do that, you've laid a very good foundation for you to build on. It's easy. Once a good foundation is laid, the other part is very good. Um, it's also about understanding user needs and their challenge. And now, during this process or during this particular step, we have few processes that you do, or some tasks that you do as a product designer. That like, okay, this is the thing you do. You know, enough of the words. But what are the action that you do? We talk about conducting research. That is what you do. So how do you really empathize? Because you want to empathize, you don't have to like Deborah said, you don't have to have that problem yourself. You only just have to put yourself in the shoe. And how do you do that? You do that by doing research. And we have different type of research. We have qualitative and we have quantitative research. We'll dive deep into that in that class. This is just an introduction. So we have you conduct research, different research like user interview, where you talk to the persons that have the problem, just like what doctors do, consulting. Also, someone like goodness, like if you want to do a video, you don't just out of the blue just do that video, right? Or just make a video out of anything. You have to know more about the story you want to tell in your video. So you want to read more about the person. You want to do like a process of identifying what is it that you want to create. So the same thing as a product designer, you want to conduct research. We are, like I said, we have qualitative and quantitative. We'll talk more about that in a later class. Empathize is just all you gathering findings, insights, knowing more about your users. Yeah, research means like interviews, doing surveys, focus group. We'll talk more about that in later class. The next step is defining. So I'll go to goodness in this process, in this step. So what do you think, in a layman language, what do you think define means to you? And if you could also relate it to this process, like just think, like I said, no wrong answer. Everything is right. You're muted. Goodness.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. My network's bad. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was saying that can you so we're in the next step, which is define. So I was saying that if you
Okay.
could tell us what you think define is in your own opinion in like a literal layman's language, and if you can relate it to what we're talking about as a designer, if you can, put yourself in the shoe of a designer, what would
Um,
define me?
define. I would say it's kind of I'll say it's more like creating a brief in a
Hmm.
way. Um, I think that's the best word I can use to describe it,
I think
because if you
we
want,
have technicals in this class. I mean, take notes. We have top level designers, top level
As
designers.
in, as in,
so so I mean, if you want to, it's a design process, so definitely there needs to be like a brief. Since you've done your research, so you have
Yeah.
to create a brief from the research you've gotten, um, which will kind of highlight what you are supposed to do,
Nice,
basically.
nice.
I mean, I think, no, that's it.
Honestly, see, I mean, I think maybe next class we should just go to the next project because I think these people and they are very good though. They know
as in.
everything.
Let's just forge ahead because
Yeah,
many people like this, and they learn, and they
as
learn.
in, yeah. Honestly, no jokes. Like, I'm not trying to like you guys are really spot on. Like in everything.
And just to quickly say something, please,
Yeah,
during the course of this class and future classes, if any one of us is teaching and you did not get what we are saying, please feel free to call us back. Maybe due to network
yeah.
error, or maybe you were distracted for a bit. Just feel free to call us back, and then we reiterate or mention what we had initially said. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. So you guys, like I said, spot on. Everything you said is like I said. There's no wrong answer, said because all of us here we're away. So it's I'll use your words. The process is kind of creating a brief. Now, just to bring it to a product design terminology so that product designers please do not come and catch me that what's the meaning of brief. But then it's all synthesizing everything you know about your user. You've done interview, you've done surveys. Now, bringing all those things into a brief. So those brief, we can now call them something like your brief can contain something like a well-defined problem statement. That is, okay, you've spoken to the customers or the users, you've empathized with them, you've done interview. So what did you now identify? What are your thoughts? What are your gatherings in this process, in that first step? And that is what you do in this second process, which is define. You define the problem statement, the problems in terms of clearly written problem statements, which we also talk about. We talk about I might tweet statements when we get to some stage of this class. They also synthesize this guide findings in something like journey maps, oh sorry, I forgot to mention something in the first step, in the first empathize stages, creating of your user persona, because when you interview your users, you want to just document that. So that's something like can take like a deliverable. So something like an asset that you produce in your first step is like something like user personas, like details about your user. We'll talk about that in the next section. So for the define, like I said, clearly define problem statements. Like, okay, what is the problem that you're trying to solve for? Yeah, creating it in form of brief. And also in a corporate environment, when you're working, sometimes you're not just solving a new problem. When you're working, for example, I work as a lead product designer, and for like past 2 weeks now, I've been trying to solve one problem, which is about how do we allow users to have a more robust way of searching for keywords in our products. Now that is a problem because we discovered that that's the first stage. We empathize that okay, we discover that when people use our product, they spend more time on that page. See them clicking, trying to write a lot of things. Now, that is our process of identifying that problem. Now, we've identified it, we had meetings, talk about it. Okay, this is it, this is this. Now, the defined part was now defining the feature. So I'm talking in terms of the real life application, because most of the time, it's not every time you have to be designing new product from fresh. Sometimes when you work in a team, you only just focus on maybe a particular feature, a particular aspect of your product. So some of these documents, like I said, I talk about um, problem statements, something like how might we, we'll talk about that. We'll also like journey map. So you want to look at your user journey map, like, okay, what is the first thing they do before the problem, what is the thing they do during the problem, and what do they do after the problem, so that you're able to understand the journey, the thinking of your user from what you've done in the first instance. So you're just documenting that so that you're able to create a brief. Remember, you're going to create a brief, and at the end of the day, you arrive with something like a brief in form of feature definition. That is, okay, you're defining, okay, this is a feature, this is what you can do to solve this problem. And something like user requirement, something like, okay, I know that this user wants to solve for headache, and you always have this headache in the morning. Now you are defining those things, because you must have context before you want to design, or before you want to ideate. Some might be having headache in the morning, and someone doesn't have headache in the night. I know as a medical doctor, that might have a different scenario. So understanding those contexts and putting them will give you context when you want to ideate, or you want to design. So, like, I don't know if you guys understand that aspect. I don't know. I think it feels like I was babbling. Did I communicate any useful tips about defining? Can I move forward? Okay, as your Lord pleases, I move forward. We go to ideating. So the next step is ideate. Like the word ideate is like idea. Then you put the word th. I don't know what that th means, but it's just idea. That's what you need here. It's about putting out your idea. So now you've empathized, you know who your users are. Second one, you form a brief. I'll use the word of goodness. You have a brief of what is it that you are solving for. You have a clearly defined problem that you've identified. Now, the next thing is very fun, is where most designers always do sometimes. Some apropos designer, they will not do the first two stage. They will jump to this stage. That's one of the crime that product designers are always arrested for. Like, you can be jailed for that. They will jump the empathize stage, they will jump the ideating stage, they will just jump straight to ideating. Someone just comes to you that, I have a headache. Next thing, go and take Novogen. That's what they usually do. You understand? Because you don't understand, oh, this headache, or you have body pain. What part of the body is the pain? Is it in your leg? Is it in your head? Is it where? You just tell me, I have headache. My body is paining me. I'll go and take Flagyl. I will run away from that kind of person. You see, they have no pain. But that's what some designers do. So they will leave the first stage, leave second stage. They come to this ideating because they feel like that's the fun part of that's the kind of the beginning part where you start to do something that is real life. The other two parts is more like theoretical. You are writing, you are not doing anything fun. But when it comes to ideating, you start something very fun, something very visual. That's where it starts from. So you talk about the stage where your creative side comes alive. You start to brainstorm for ideas. So in this scenario, you have your brief, you've defined what you want to solve. So now you start thinking about it. Okay, so if I want to so for example, that the example I gave, someone that wants to do like an advanced search. So how do we do it? So they're thinking about, okay, maybe we can use logic operators, right? But I don't, let me go to something technical. Let me use something that all of us can understand. So if someone identify that, okay, this person has headache in the morning, you know, headache in the morning and will not have in the night. I know it's not village people. Maybe it could be the person will not sleep very well in the night. You understand? So I'm able to now start ideating. Start thinking, oh, maybe this person did not sleep in the morning, oh, did not sleep overnight. Be like me, you play game overnight in the morning, you're not having any headache. You're not like, even if you use paracetamol, tomorrow you might see a bad because you not rest. So you are thinking, what I'm thinking now, I'm thinking, okay, because this person has this, okay, maybe I tell this person to change their sleeping pattern, like now, am I dating? I'm not just coming because this person say he has headache. You understand? Yeah, we are all gamers. See, my gamepad is always with me here. But then we'll talk about that later. Yeah, so you are trying to brainstorm and just gather ideas out. Nice, 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 nice. Yeah, so gather those ideas to life. So we have frameworks that you use to do these sections, something like the most reliable activity or very thing everybody do here is what we call sketching. One minute. Let me show you something. Let me show you what I mean. So when you want to do that, you also do something like this. 1 minute. That's my sketch pad. Yeah. So this is one of the fun way of solving is sketching. You see this, I have my sketch pad here, like my notes. I'm trying to find a page where I sketch. So I'll show you something. I don't know if it's going to be. So you see something like this. You start sketching ideas. So I've written, might not be clear, just have an idea of what it looks like. So this is one of the fun things you do as a designer. You must have like a sketch pad. You have like a note where you scribble ideas too. Because sometimes it's not always good to go to the software because you might get overwhelmed. So you let's just put your idea down into paper, like, okay, what about if a user is able to go from X to X to this to Y before they solve their problem and everything? Then you now start sketching. So in this stage, you have something like paper sketching, something like mind mapping, something like conducting workshop, which we also talk about in later classes. So at this stage, what you want to generate is like an idea of what you want to do, like a low fidelity wireframe or a sketch. Let me put it that way, a sketch. So once you have that, you already have an idea of what you want to build. You know, okay, this person doesn't sleep. That's why he's having a headache in the morning, not in the night. So it means you're telling the person, okay, go and change your sleeping pattern. So you now propose that, okay, add 2 more pillows, sleep by 10 p.m. in the night so that you can have 8 hours of sleep. Now you are ideating for that person and you kind of propose, you have like an idea of what solution is going to look like. So the next stage is you go to the design or prototyping. This is where you now bring the idea to life in literal times. This is when you go into software like Figma, which we also talk about, where those your sketch, you now bring it to life. You add colors to it. You use those things that Sarah talked about. You use shape, text, color, and what's it called, space. I don't know, yeah, but these are the components of visual designs which you also learn in this class. So you put those things together to now bring your idea to life such that someone can use it. So this step and the last step goes intertwined. So once you now bring those ideas of yours to life, you want to test it. So you want to tell this person to go and sleep for like 3 weeks or maybe 3 days. After 2 days, are you still having a headache? So that's what you do in this prototype and testing. So like this is a loop actually. So sometimes when you test and the person is still having headache after sleeping for 8 hours, it's village people. So you will have to go back again and start empathize again. You ask some questions that maybe you didn't ask again. Oh, wait, to give me more details to this. So it's like a loop. And sometimes you don't always go back to empathize. Sometimes you could also go back to defining. Maybe there's something you miss when you are trying to gather those information. But that is how the circle works with product design process. So what did I miss? Is there anything I missed, Remy, that you want to add?
None at all. None at all. The only thing I would just like to say is don't be scared if you find all these steps in another formats, because there are different formats out there. Some people tell you execute, define, they like create. They use different formats interchangeably.
Exactly.
If you delve into the steps in depth, you discover that it follows this pattern: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Every single product designer that I have come across that builds products will use these steps, and they are very, very important for a designer. So that's all I have to say regarding that. Thank you.
Yeah, so the last part is this other aspect called user-centered design. My slide did not have it. Yay! My slide did not do it though. I thought I added it. Okay, it's not there. I've not had the last part. So it's about a concept called user-centered design. If we don't talk about this, they will come and arrest me and Remy that you are teaching new designers, you not talk about user-centered design. There was one time, it was popular. UCD, HCI, human center interaction. But then everything we're always trying to say is what we have been saying at the same thing is that user-centered design. User is at the center of your design, even though me, I do not agree. Always, it must be user business, but don't let us go to that. It's user-centered design. It's just this process actually. See this process, user is at the center. You start with the user, you finish with your user, because you start empathizing, and the last stage is also your test with the user. You empathize with the user, you test with the user. All this stage, everything is all about a user. So at the foundation of everything you are doing, know that as a product design, it's always built on this concept called user-centered design, which is an iterative process where a designer focuses on users and their needs at each phase of their design process. It's just user at the center. So like I said, if you don't take anything away in this session, and know that as a product designer, two things. This one is saying one, but just add my own as a managed version. Two things is at the center of what you are doing: your user needs, understand your user needs, and your business needs. So if you can have that in the front of your heart, not at the back, you'll be a successful designer. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. All right, so I think for this section, so that we don't talk too much, don't get bored, because designer we can bore easy, we can get bored easy. So I think this is where we'll draw the curtain for today. I think during the week we can have some maybe brief intro into UI design. All right, over to you, Mr. Remy. And fun fact, I'm going to the field to go and play ball very soon.
Nice one. Please drop location.
No problem. And come to Middlesbrough.
That's the part. All right, thank you so much for the class. I'm sure we let myself, I don't learn some things where I don't know before. God.
So
thank you. Thank you for such an amazing class. I think we can unmute our mics and appreciate if you've learned something, which I believe you have.
Yeah, thank you so much, Emmanuel. Thank you so much, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
We even have top designers in this place. I can't imagine this is the first class and people already know empathize, they already know briefs. When I started out, I was looking at those things, they were sounding like gibberish. So I believe we would have a fantastic entire design curriculum with this foundation. So thank you once again, sir. And just like you said, pay attention to, I think one key takeaway that you should not forget, pay attention to users. I know he will tell you that add business to it, but at least for now, your business
I think I like that.
For now, your business should be like the users. So if I should use the example he has been using all through now, imagine Deborah in the hospital. Somebody brings a situation to you. So in as much as yes, you will consider NHS and NHS's reputation and their objectives, but your focus is actually solving that user's challenge. Yes. So when you now get to a certain level, you now start to consider like factor in business goals and objectives and how to balance them between meeting your user needs. Trust me, it's very, very important. The fact that I said for now does not mean it's not important too, because I mean, from experience, my company showed me Pepe. Why? We were meeting user needs, but they are meeting user needs at the detriment of the company's revenue.
Yeah,
they don't want to hear story. In as much as you are meeting your user needs, if the company is running at a loss or the company is not meeting its objective, then your work as a product designer, I think this is where the name tailor and fashion designer comes in. As a product designer is not entirely complete, so there has to be that balance. But for now, Our focus will be on our users and how to get their problems solved, how to get their needs solved. So I think even before our next class, we might eventually share some relevant links with you that you can use to also practice. You can use to reacquaint yourself with everything you've heard today, which I think will be of benefit to you as well, while we plan towards the next class as well. So I think it's been fun from my end. Thank you very much once again, Manuel. And thank you guys for being amazing and making the class interactive.
Thank you
Yeah,
for having us.
I think Deborah has a question. Yeah, please shoot. It was shoot.
Yeah, I think I asked a question. The second one is looking like I'm forward, but let me just say the first one. So the first one is about the classes. I know in the first class I said we'll be having classes Tuesdays and Saturdays. I'll be available for Saturday classes, but for
The midweek.
Tuesdays, because of work, I won't. There are some Tuesdays I won't be available. That's depending on when they put me on off duties. But at the moment, my Tuesdays are not usually free because of work. Yeah, so just to let you be in the know. Then my second question that I said, okay, is a bit maybe I'm forward or something. Uh yeah, so I've done a lot of research regarding UI UX design, and for me, I want to use it as like a side also, and with the kind of job that I do, I don't know if it's going to be visible. So now the reason why I'm asking this question is because you said as product designers we get to attend meetings from the research and everything. So like let us say I'm working as a freelancer, as a free UI a product design freelancer, and you need to attend meetings, and due to work I can't attend meeting. Like how is it visible for me to juggle both my work as a nurse and as a product designer? Yeah.
I would answer first, and then I'll let Emmanuel also add one or two things.
Okay.
So you can look at it, you can look at it together, and you can look at it separately.
Okay.
By together, I mean when it comes to product design or UI UX design, you are not restricted to what's the word? You're not restricted to a certain field. So you can combine your knowledge of nursing and medicine with product design. I know product designers that work in the health sector. So the products that they strategically build are for people in the health sector to tackle health challenges.
Okay.
So in a sense, they are not using it as a side hustle. It's actually their main hustle, but combining their knowledge of nursing together to now build with their knowledge of product design to build a product that actually solves people's issues in the product in the health sector rather. So that's the response for together. Like in the future, if you eventually acquire this knowledge, you can fuse your knowledge of product design with your knowledge of nursing to actually come up with something nice. Now, to answer separately, let's even say, okay, you don't want to be a product designer in the health sector, but you still want to keep on doing nursing. As a freelancer, it's there is no rule book for how to approach that. Really, it just depends on who you are working with, your team, your company, and their policies. So for example, if the person you're working with or the company you're working with has a remote policy where you don't have to be 100% present, you can walk around meetings, you can talk to your teammates to agree a time that works for you outside, like factoring in your nursing work. So you can meet with them, tell them, oh, I'm available this time, let's have this meeting by this time, such that you're able to walk around meetings and stuff like that. And then if you are freelancing, I think it's even much easier. You can speak with whoever you are designing for your clients to, I think the perk of freelancing, the number one perk of freelancing is you are able to work at your own time and at your own pace. So you speak with your clients to agree a time that you, based on your calendar, see that you would be free. and then based off of that time, you communicate with your clients that okay, I can only have meetings at this point. If the person is cool with it and wants to get into business with you, then that's fine, all well and good. And I think one key thing as a freelancer is always communicate and communicate clearly, because if people can't see you, you are far apart, different places in the world, and then you are just ghosting them, there might be a problem. But if you communicate clearly, I think it should solve that problem. So I'll let Emmanuel add anything you'd like to add as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think he has answered most things, honestly. The only aspect I would want to see is that even if you look in between, like as a nurse, what you do right now, you can actually apply product design to it. Your field is one of the field that has not yet been productized. Let me put it that way. There are little softwares, but the software that I've seen in healthcare is crap. So it's not yet explored. So there's still a lot of opportunity for you there. So, and if you're able to even, I don't know what the future looks like, but I don't know, maybe in the next future you might have like a nurse who is also a product designer and working in the same company. But I'm just saying, even in where you work right now as a nurse, you can still apply that knowledge in healthcare tech. So that's what I would just say.
Okay.
Answered it all, like more elucidity, yeah.
Does that answer your question, Deborah?
Yeah, thank you.
Any other question? Any other question?
Yeah, I have a question. Sorry, I had to put my camera on because I'm about to go out. So I know we have basically like six weeks, if I'm correct. After these 6 weeks, are there ways you can help us in terms of let me restructure the question. Okay, first of all, like how many projects are we going to work on within the space of 6 weeks? Is it just 2? And are they going to be ones that we can use in, we can like post on LinkedIn, and how do we use that to attract maybe hiring people that are hiring for like jobs per se? I don't know if I placed that properly.
Emmanuel, will you go?
Okay. So we'll be doing, to just be straightforward with the question, we're going to be having like a project together in these 6 weeks. Like we're going to be doing it together. Everybody need to be doing it. We'll show you in the class, in the section, then you go home and do your assignments, do a task. So by the end of that 6 weeks, you could have an idea, or if you're unable to, okay, let's ideally at the end of that 6 weeks, you should have like a project already, one project done already. Then after the 6 weeks, there's another 6 weeks for mentoring, which you will now have like your own project. There could be a project that you've always loved, proving on to solve, like a case study project. Then you will do that, which will now guide you through the process of what we taught in the past 6 weeks. So, and this project and everything, you can use them in your portfolio. It's even going to be open source and everything. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think that's okay. And I think like Deborah said, if there are instances, if there are like instances where we cannot like meet up for a class, probably because of work or something, is there other ways we can access class or get through to you?
Oh,
or is there
definitely.
another way we can have that?
Definitely. I think Jomi will do that. I think we're gonna have maybe like a Slack group, I guess, where we have a channel for us, so we can always communicate through that channel. I definitely there's gonna be a channel where we can communicate even beyond this class. We are friends forever. FOF. Abi.
Yeah, I believe so too, and I think also the classes are recorded, if I'm not mistaken. So if you miss a class, you should be able to watch recording. However, for sake of you understanding well, I would plead with you. The fact that classes are recorded should not make you relax and will make you want to miss class and say, okay, well, I'll just watch the recording. Try as much as possible. I know that yes, some emergencies might come up and you might not be able to make classes, but try as much as possible to make the classes and be available real time, such that you are able to ask questions real time. Because if you are not present and then we teach a class and then you watch recording and you don't exactly understand, you'd be drawing us back if when we are supposed to be doing the next thing, you are now asking in the next class after we've taught that. So I believe they are recordings, but try as much as possible also to make the classes live. And for times when you'd not be available, also let us know ahead of time, except for maybe like cases of emergency. Let us know ahead of time, such that if we would have to like reschedule reschedule the time for the class, then we would just do that, such that we can all be present, seeing how plenty we are. Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. That's fine. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions before we go? All right. I guess none. Ima, no. Is there any other thing? Or wrap it up.
Nothing else. Maybe you want to do closing prayer, shall? All right. Yeah.
Item 7.
Item 7. Let's talk. Oh yeah. AY, please. Thank you.
No, Deborah, I can see Deborah's fridge in the video. So just open your fridge and have those drinks. All right, guys. I think it's been an awesome introductory class. Let's have a wonderful rest of the weekend and see you in the next class. And yes, sorry, before we go, I think I must mention also that the weekdays is more for like peer-to-peer review, like discussion amongst yourselves as the students, discussion, like you can bounce ideas off each other, you can like ask yourself questions if you don't understand. So for example, if Deborah doesn't understand, you can ask Goodness. If Goodness doesn't understand, you can ask Deborah, whilst you try to solve assignments that are given while the main teaching classes are on Saturdays. So just to point out for Deborah's question earlier. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So have a wonderful weekend, guys.
Yeah, you too. Bye. Peace
Bye.
out.
Thank you. Bye.
My boss.
Hey, Mr. KY.
Yeah. Thank you for today's class. I think we'll see in the next class.
Yeah. I think maybe part of assignment we should give them is that they should download Figma, since the next class is UI design. Just send the resources towards that so that they can prepare in like for the class, so that they don't just come to black end. Yeah.
I agree. I think I'll communicate that to Mr. Yomi. Let's see if we can pass the message across to them before the next class.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, boss.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.